Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you so much for joining me today. In today's quicker webinar session, we're going to show you how to make the most out of some free resources Neat offers to help you stay organized, informed, and also in control of your financial workflow, whether you're a small business owner or self-employed, or maybe you're just trying to stay on top of your paperwork. And that's right, you heard me right. These are free resources that I think are commonly missed by Neat users. So we're going to talk about all of them so we can make sure that you are making the most out of everything Neat has to offer. For those of you who don't know, my name is Nicole and I am the Director of Customer Success here at the Neat Company. With me today, I have George, Melissa, and Tia, who are going to be active in chat. They are customer success leads here at the Neat Company, and they're going to be active in chat, helping me to answer all of your Neat-related questions. So as we go through this webinar, if you do have any questions, please post your question in the chat box to the right, and either they will get you an answer or I'll try to answer your question during this webinar. So here, let me just go to the next slide. Here is our agenda for today. So as you can see, Neat has a lot of free resources at your disposal. We're going to talk about our free educational resources, our free support tools, our free financial templates that you can download and even keep. And we're even going to talk about some free software that we offer. So most of these we're just going to breeze right through because we've talked about them in other webinars. They're pretty self-explanatory. But then I'm actually going to demonstrate in this webinar how you can use, some of our free financial templates. And then lastly, we'll do a quick Q&A session at the end of this webinar to answer any of your Neat-related questions. I'm also going to share a handout at the end of this webinar, which will include a complete list of all of the links and all of the resources that we talk about today. So make sure you stick around for that. So let's go ahead and get started with our educational resources. So our educational resources are a great way to build your knowledge about all things Neat, but not just Neat, also all things finance and also document management. And there are several educational resources that we're going to talk about. So we have, dozens of live and on-demand webinars on our webinar library and on our YouTube channel. There are hundreds of posts up on our small business blog. We offer a complete guide to receipts, expenses, and taxes. And finally, we also offer an accounting terms glossary. So here at Neat, we have resources for everyone, from seasoned small business professionals to solopreneurs, and especially for those who are really passionate about their business, but maybe aren't prepared or maybe don't even care about the annoying paperwork and finances that come with running a business. So you don't have to be an expert to use Neat, since we're here to help you simplify these cumbersome financial and document management tasks, and also teach you how to along the way, trying to build up best practices and a database that is easy to manage. So let's take a quick look at each one of these resources. First up, we have our webinars. So just like this one, we host live and on-demand webinars covering, a variety of topics, from expense management to organizing receipts for tax time to, just how to get the most out of Neat. And we run these webinars, usually at least one new webinar every single month. In order to access our webinar library, you can simply go to this direct link, neat.com/webinars, or you can just go to neat.com in your browser, click Learn at the top right-hand corner of neat.com, and then choose Webinars. And that'll bring you to our webinar library. Within our webinar library, you can watch any of our previously run webinars at any time that you'd like. So you can, go through all the webinar replays. If you scroll down to the page to the webinar replays, you'll see all the ones that we've ever run. The replays are full 1 hour long webinar recordings of these previous webinars. So, they're all about an hour long. If you scroll down even further on the page, you're going to reach our shorter snippets section. These snippets are shorter clips from the longer webinar replays where we talked about a specific topic. That way, if you only need to brush up on something specific, like in, bulk editing in this case, you can watch the shorter 7-minute long snippet instead of watching the entire hour-long file management webinar replay. So you can go to the snippets to target specific topics that you might be, interested in learning more about or refreshing your memory on. We also have a YouTube channel. Just give me one second here while I get that up. We also have a YouTube channel where we upload all of these videos as well. So many of the webinar replays and the snippets are already there. We're in the process of uploading a backlog of older webinar replays to our YouTube channel as well. Plus, on our YouTube channel, there are a variety of other videos that just talk about how Neat can help you save time and money. In order to access our YouTube channel, you can simply go to YouTube and then type in the Neat Company in the search bar. And that is what our YouTube channel looks like. Or you can go to that direct link there. Once you're on our YouTube page, I highly recommend switching over and taking a look at our YouTube playlists. Here we have playlists for, why Neat is beneficial. We have top videos on the beginner's guide to Neat, Neat hacks, and also our webinar replays. And I did want to mention that there is a difference between watching our videos on YouTube and watching our videos within our webinar library. Watching videos on our YouTube page will actually allow you to have video controls. You can pause the video, you can move forward or backwards on the video, you can scrub the video however you'd like. Whereas within the webinar library, you cannot do that. So when you start playing a video within the library, it's just going to play it from start to finish, and you won't be able to really pause or go back or anything like that. However, watching videos from the webinar library will also allow you to actually ask questions to our customer success team. So you'll still have the chat tool capability from the webinar library, and you can ask questions and someone from the CS team will get back to you with an answer. Plus, the webinar library also allows you to download all of the all of the handouts, any of the resources, any of the links that are provided or discussed during the actual webinar. And that is not available from our YouTube channel. So you have these two options. You can watch it on YouTube if you're looking for just a really quick way to scrub through videos that we have on specific topics, or you can go to our library if you want more of a more well-rounded support experience with access to all of the resources and downloads and links that we talk about within a video. So those are those two flavors, and you can pick whichever meets your needs at that point in time. All right, let's move on. So we also have a blog. We have a small business blog, which is a great resource for learning about financing in general, not just about Neat, but just about financing. In order to access our blog, you're just simply going to go to this direct link, either neat.com/blog, or you can just go to neat.com. Again, click learn at the top right-hand corner and then choose blog from the dropdown. So our small business blog is, it's really packed with financial tips for small business owners, including updates on tax regulations, updates on yearly tax regulations. It offers advice on streamlining your finances. And our team is always working hard to deliver insightful and educational blog posts on a monthly basis as well. We do send out blog updates each month to our newsletter subscribers. So if you're not subscribed to our newsletter and you'd like to be a part of that, you can come to this page and enter your email address to sign up for that. And then you'll get an email every month, which will be our newsletter, and it'll include any new blog posts that we've put out there. We also offer a receipts, expenses, and taxes guide. And really, this is a helpful overview and guide for staying compliant and organized during tax season. You can access it through this direct link, which is kind of crazy, or you can just simply go to neat.com and scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page to the footer. Here, you're going to find a little resources section. You can find links for the webinars and the blogs there, but then you'll also see the link for the receipts, expenses, and taxes guide there. In fact, most of the resources we're going to talk about today are right there in the resources section at the footer of neat.com. So, if you're looking for resources, that's the place to go. And really, this guide is a go-to resource if you're a solopreneur, a freelancer, or a small business owner and you're feeling overwhelmed by lots of receipts, the manual tracking of your finances, or just general tax time stress. This guide is really a curated list of different resources with the goal of helping you understand what receipt and expense management really means, and also the best advice for how you can build a simple, scalable system that helps you save time and feel in control of your business finances. So I highly recommend checking this out if you're looking for guidance on that. And finally, we have our accounting terms glossary, which includes 56 of the top most basic but important accounting terms that you should know. You can access this glossary by this direct link here, or you can go to neat.com, scroll all the way to the bottom, and then under resources, click accounting terms glossary. And again, this glossary is really our attempt to help you understand financial management without all of the complicated jargon. At Eber, we're always trying to simplify things. So, here you can learn more about what these accounting terms mean and why they're important in a user-friendly way. You can see here, I have like an example of what our definition for an accounting period is. It, includes some images there. And not only do we simplify what the definition is, but we also provide vetted and helpful article links that help you dive deeper into the topics or the terms that you're most interested in. So you can always learn more on each of these different terms. So there you have it on the free educational resources that Neat offers. Now we're going to talk about some of our support resources. Now, the support resources really are focused on supporting the Neat product itself. Besides our customer success and support teams, there is also our Neat Help Center. Our Neat Help Center is a free website that, allows you to access hundreds of various how-to articles with step-by-step instructions and videos for completing practically any task that you need to complete in Neat. Almost everything that we talk about in our webinars is covered in, an article on the Help Center somewhere. And not only does it help you with, step-by-step instructions for how to do things on neat.com, but it also includes, everything you need, all the step-by-step instructions for using our other applications and tools as well, such as our scanning applications and our mobile applications. The Neat Support Center, support.neat.com, is also a place where you can contact us. You can open a chat there. You can open an email case there. You can sign into your account from there and also just check on our statuses as well and our, whether or not we're having any issues at the moment. So highly recommend checking that out. And then lastly, you also want to be sure to check out our product releases page. We're always improving this platform. We are constantly, on a monthly basis, pushing out new updates and enhancements. Many of the things that we've been doing recently have been more behind the scenes, preparing for some big things later on this year. But this product releases page will kind of help you just stay in the loop with any new enhancements that come out and any new functionality that comes out. You can access the product releases page by going to neat.com and then scrolling to the bottom and in the resources section, choosing product releases, or you can go to the direct link, which is just neat.com/product releases. Now, we bucket up our product updates by year and month, so it's going to make it really easy to stay up to date. You can go right to 2025, right to the most recent month of 2025, and see all of the recent things that we've done this year. Not only that, but you can also submit your own feedback and ideas from this page as well. So at the top there is a little submission form where you can go and submit ideas and feedback that you have about the product that may make its way into a future product release. So I, recommend sharing your feedback as often as possible. All right, so those are some of the free support resources that we have. We also have some free software. Now, our Neat desktop application is our scanning application. So if you're scanning anything to Neat, this is the application that you probably already have installed. So more than likely, you may already have it. But if you don't, the Neat desktop application is what allows you to scan files to Neat or to your computer hard drive. The software is compatible with the 1000 series model Neat scanners and also most Twing compliant scanners as well. And you can use this Neat desktop application to scan and save files directly to the Neat cloud with an active Neat cloud subscription. So that method would require, payment through a subscription. But you can also scan and save files using the software directly to your computer hard drive for free. So you don't, if you just want to scan and save files to your computer hard drive and save them somewhere else, you can do that for free with this desktop, the Neat desktop application software. You can download the software by going to our support center, our help center at support.neat.com and clicking downloads and drivers at the top left corner, of support.neat.com and scrolling down till you find the Neat desktop app installation link. Now, the handout that I'm going to provide at the end of this webinar includes this direct link for installing the Neat desktop application. So don't worry about, you don't need to worry about hopping there now. You'll get a link with this handout momentarily. All right, so that brings us to the last free things that I wanted to talk about, which were our free financial document templates. So these are ready to use tools that help you look professional and stay organized. So we have our free invoice template, which helps you send clean and branded invoices quickly. Then we have the income statement template, which is perfect for tracking profitability over time. And lastly, there's a free balance sheet template that you can download, which gives you a snapshot of your business's financial health. Now, all of these templates are downloadable and editable, meaning that you can download them and then import them into tools like Excel or Google Sheets and then edit them. They're really designed to try to help you save time and keep your records clean. And I do want to preface this with that these templates are super simple. They're very basic templates that allow you to accomplish these things in a very simple way. So I'm going to now show you how you can access these and download these, and I'm going to show you what each of them looks like and what the benefits of them are. So give me 1 second while I share my screen here. So here we have neat.com. And just as a quick reminder, pretty much all of the resources we've talked about today thus far, you can access by coming to just type in neat.com into your search bar. No need to type in the www or anything. And then click Learn up here at the top where you can access our blog, webinars, the Help Center, and our Receipts, Expenses, and Taxes Guide. Or you can scroll all the way to the bottom of this page to access our resources, where you can access the webinars, the blog, the guide, the glossary, and our free templates, which are right here. So here's where we're going to download them from. So I'm going to click this one here, and we are going to, so this is the free invoicing template link or web page. When you come to this page, if you scroll down, you can learn a little bit about the tool. It even includes the steps here for how you can use the invoicing template right on this page. So you don't have to watch this video. You could just follow the steps, but I'm going to share some other tips and tricks that you might not be aware of. And you can even see an example of what the invoicing template looks like. So to get access to this, you're going to enter your email address here in the box, and then you'll click submit. Once you do that, you'll be brought to this page here where you can go ahead and click here to download the invoice template here. So it has been downloaded onto my computer now. And I am going to open this up for you guys in Google Sheets. So just give me 1 second while I do that. Okay. So here we go. So this is what the invoicing template looks like when you download it initially. So it's a blank slate. We have a place here where you can insert all of your business information, including your business's logo. We have a bill to section here, which is where you can fill in all of your customers' details and all of the details about the invoice itself. And then there are 10 line items here, though you can expand this and add more if you'd like. You can go in and you can fill in your different products and services, how many of those were purchased or used, what their price is, and then this invoicing template will calculate the amounts for you. So let me just show you a quick example. Let's say, for example, I enter product number 1 here, and we have a description. The quantity we'll say is 2. We'll say the price is $100, and we'll say the sales tax is 8%. Now, this field, this amount field, has a formula in it that will automatically calculate your quantity, your price, and your tax for you. And then if you scroll toward the bottom, we have a total amount here that is calculating the total amount of all of your line items here. So I can go in and maybe I add service number 1, and we'll say we did one of those. We'll say that was worth $50 at 8%. So now we have, one product at $216, one service at $50.04, and a grand total of $250.20. You could go in and you can delete line items by, deleting a row that you don't need. And likewise, if you needed to add more rows, you could do the same thing by inserting a row here and then entering your item there. So like I said, this is a pretty basic version. I recommend, having, this sheet here or this invoicing main sheet that you can go in and you can edit. Every time you need to create a new invoice for a customer, you can come in and fill out all this information. And then you can go ahead and you can print this or send this out to whoever you need to send it out to. Now, this is a pretty bare bones invoice template because I just downloaded it, but let me show you an example of an invoicing template that is a little bit more robust and what you can kind of do with this, because you're not just limited to this. Here's some other things that you can do with it. So here we have the invoicing template for Wonderland Catering. So, let's say they downloaded our invoicing template, and this is what they did to optimize their use of our free invoicing template. So they have a draft here, an invoice draft here, where they have filled in all of their information. They have their logo, their company information. They've filled in one of their customers here who they are invoicing. They have all the details about when this invoice is due and what the date actually is. And then they've gone in and they've added a bunch of products and services here with the price and the quantity. One thing that I did want to quickly mention is when you're editing your invoice, be careful not to edit any cells that have a formula in them. So for example, when I click on cell 21H under amount, when we look up at the function bar here, we can see there's a whole formula here. And that's because the invoice template has these formulas built into it to calculate this information for you. So you just want to be careful you're not editing any fields that have a formula in them. Basically, any of the amount fields have a formula. So just be careful with editing those. Otherwise, your amounts will not calculate all up correctly. So again, they have this invoice draft that's basically ready to go for Nelson and Murdoch. Some other things that Wonderland Catering has done is they've also created a products sheet. So this is a list of their products that they offer with their price and the product description. They've also created a services sheet with their list of services that they offer, their pricing, and those descriptions. And they also have a customer sheet as well with their customers' information like name, address, phone number, and email address. All things that they need to be able to generate invoices for their customers. And what they do is, they have their invoicing draft and they can just copy things directly from these other tabs. So, for example, if they wanted to add another product, maybe they wanted to add product number 6 to this draft as well. They can just go to the products tab and start copying, pasting products from the product sheet over to their new invoice. That way, they don't have to type everything out. It just streamlines this process just a bit more. So we can check the price of this, which is $25. And we can add a sales tax amount here. And I'm going to copy the formula as well down into the amount sheet here. And now we can see that we've added this new product. The total amount has been updated and the amounts here have been updated as well. And that's a lot easier than going in and typing in all of the different items and descriptions. It allows you to stay a little bit more consistent from invoice to invoice generation. So keep that in mind. Let me see here. And then so like I said, I recommend creating tabs for your products and services and customers to keep them all organized and consistent. But then also, once you're done, say for example, this invoice draft is ready to go. I'm ready to send this over to Matthew Murdoch. I can go ahead and I can print this. So I can print this here and I can send this to my printer and actually print a physical copy of it. Or I could save this to a PDF file instead and save it to my computer and then email it out to somebody if I need to. Or I can even, if I have the Neat virtual printer installed for Print to Neat, I could just send this to the Print to Neat feature and it'll send the invoice into my Neat account as well. And then I can send that invoice out from Neat to my customer or whoever else I need to. So you can also print this page as well very easily. So it's a nice, free and easy way to create invoices for your customers without having to, purchase a subscription or any sort of software for it. Now, that being said, Neat does have a invoicing feature that does all of this stuff for you in a much more straightforward way. This is a very manual process, and that's fine because it's free. But if you are looking for, a tool that will allow you to generate invoices and do all of this stuff in a more constructive way, then there is also invoicing in Neat. So let me show you what that looks like. So to preface this, in order to access our invoicing and our accounts and transaction features, you need to have a Neat Plus Automated Insights plan. So the plan that you're currently on may not include these features, so you may not see them. You need to have that plan to access these. With an Automated Insights plan, you can access the invoices section and actually manage invoices, create your list of customers and products and services, and streamline that invoice creation and management process. So you can, in the invoices section, you have settings to add all of your business information, like your logo and your address and all of those details that will be generated and added to every one of the invoices that you create in Neat. You can also add your list of customers and products and services here. So Neat gives you the ability to organize and track all of your different customers and products and services. You can activate or inactivate any of your products and services if you're no longer offering those services, or if that customer is no longer a customer of yours. When you go to create invoices, that's super helpful. So I'm in the process of creating an invoice right now. I can select from all of my customers within my customer list here without having to manually enter their information like I would within the free invoice template. So we'll create an invoice for Danny Torrance. Neat will automatically update the invoice number for each of your new invoices, keeping track of your invoicing numbers from invoice to invoice, making sure you don't accidentally send the same invoice number to two different customers. You can choose your invoice date, the date in which this invoice is due. You can choose from a specific range or a specific date. I'm going to choose 30 days. Because I'm able to add my products and services to Neat, when I go to add products and services, I can just select from the different products and services that I have added to my inventory. So we'll choose product number 1. I can change the quantity of it. I can tell Neat whether or not we want to include sales tax. I'm going to add another one for service 1. We'll just say that was 1, and we'll include tax for that as well. I can even add discounts and fees in Neat that will be tracked. So if maybe this was a brand new customer and I'm giving them $100 off because they're a brand new customer, I can add this discount and Neat will subtract this $100 from the total. If I changed this to fee, then it would add $100 to the total. We can see my total down here, and I'm able to select the sales tax associated with this invoice. Neat also gives you the ability to add other attachments. So if you have some other form of contract or something like that that you need to include in the invoice, you can attach it here. And you can also add notes and create or add your own terms and conditions to the invoice as well. Once you are done generating your invoice, you can go ahead and you can click save. And now this invoice is saved as a draft within Neat. And I can preview my invoice by clicking preview. And this is what your invoice would look like if you generated it in Neat. We can see all the taxable items, the total amounts, the links, anything that we've included in here, plus all of my information, like my logo, my name, and all my company information here at the bottom. Once you have created a bunch of invoices in Neat, you can also record payments for those invoices. Now, you can't accept payments for these invoices through Neat. So, I want to make that clear distinction. However, if let's say, for example, Alice Little here has an invoice that's due on August 22nd. Maybe she paid me today, her total amount. I can click on the actions here and I can actually record a payment for her. We can say maybe she paid through credit card and she paid in full, and then I can save this. And now I'm letting Neat know that this invoice has been paid for already. And we can see now that Alice's invoice has been paid and she no longer has an outstanding balance. And you can see all of the different statuses of your invoices here. You can see if any of them are past due, which ones you've marked as paid, which ones are in a draft status, and which ones have been sent but have not been paid for just yet. And that's one of the things that I really like about the invoicing feature in Neat is that you get the invoicing history here. So I can see all of the invoices I've ever created. I can see whether or not they've been paid for. I can see that payment history. I can see whether or not they were partial payments or the types of payments that they were. I can also void invoices. Maybe this new invoice for Danny is not something that I'm going to accept. So I can void it out entirely so that it is accurately reflected upon within my invoicing history. And one of the last things that I think is cool about the invoicing feature is that you can also duplicate invoices. So with the free template, you would have to, basically duplicate your tab and then enter all of that information back in. Neat gives you kind of a similar tool, which is a bit more automated, where I can come in and I can choose to duplicate any one invoice. I can make quick adjustments, like maybe he's no longer a new customer, so I'll remove that from this new invoice. But I can, add new notes, or I can add another product or service. I can make quick adjustments here and then save the new invoice that quickly. So it kind of streamlines the invoice creation process altogether. So there you have it. Neat offers a couple different invoicing tools. You have the free invoicing template that is there for you to use. You can do all of this stuff using the free invoicing template without paying any additional fees or subscription services. Or, through Neat, you can also purchase our Neat Plus Automated Insights plan and utilize these invoicing features here to create and manage your invoices, your customers, and your products. Really depends on what works for you best. So that is the invoicing template. Now let's talk about the income statement template. So we're going to go back to Neat here. Again, we're going to come to neat.com and scroll all the way to the bottom where you can find the free income statement template. When you click on that, you're going to be brought to the income statement page where you'll be asked to enter your email address in order to access this free income statement. Again, this is similar to the invoicing template. All the steps for using this income statement are already on the page, so you don't have to watch this video, but I may share tips that are not included on here. So I'm going to click submit and download this. When I do that, I can go ahead and I can download the income statement template. I am going to import this into my Google account, and I'm going to show you what this looks like. Just give me one moment. So here we have the Neat income statement template. This is how it comes right after you download it. So again, just like the invoicing template, bare bones, it's got all the places for you to fill in your logo, your company name, the date, and then you can go in and you can fill in all of these details about your expenses and about your sales. You can change the year. So, maybe I update this to 2025 and I can update this to 2024. And then what I would do is I would go through all of my numbers, all of my financial records and determine what my sales revenue is, how much I've spent on advertising and, rent, office supplies, and all the expenses that I need to run my business. And then Neat will calculate or not Neat, but this income statement will calculate for you a net profit, kind of similar to a profit and loss sheet. If you see expenses that are on here that aren't important to you, you can simply choose to delete those particular rows. Or if you see, if you see that an expense is missing, you can add a row also and add expenses to this as well. So this is customizable that way. And you can even add another column for a whole other year. Say, for example, you add a column to the left, you can now, fill in 2026 data once 2026 rolls around. So all of this is customizable here. So again, this is a pretty bare bones one. I'm going to show you Wonderland Catering's version of their income statement and what you can kind of do with the income statement. So give me 1 second while I find that and share that with you. So here is the Wonderland Catering's income statement. You can see they added their logo, all of their business information, and they went in and they filled in all of the details about their 2024 and 2025 profit and loss details. And we can see here, we can compare their 2025 to 2024 numbers. And, you might need this for, you could print a copy of this for your investors, or maybe you need it in aiding you in making budgeting decisions or forecasting decisions and things like that. But you can always come to here and and compare, your profit and loss year over year. Now, just like Neat offers an invoicing feature, Neat does also offer a feature that allows you to see a profit and loss statement within the Neat application itself. So let me show you what that looks like. So in order to access this, again, you need to have a Neat Plus Automated Insights plan, because in order to access the profit and loss statement, you need to be using the accounts and transaction features in Neat. Accounts and transactions features allow you to actually connect your financial institutions directly to Neat for transaction streaming. So you can actually connect your bank accounts, your credit card accounts, and things like that to Neat and have all of the transactions that are coming through those financial platforms directly into Neat. So you can see all your transactions for all of your different connected accounts in one space. But the most important is that your transactional data drives your profit and loss sheet and your balance sheets. So if I click over to my reports and I click on my profit and loss statement, here I am seeing, similarly what the free income statement template provides, just in a different way. So I can, again, this is transactional information. This is not data coming from my file cabinet. This is data coming from my streamed transactions. But I can choose a date range here. I can choose to see a summary of my profit and loss, just a high level overview of what my income, my cost of goods sold, and my operating expenses have been this year, with a total net profit at the bottom. Or I can I could switch over to a detailed view of this, and I can see specifically which expense categories are driving these operating expenses and my sales and things like that. Another thing that you'll notice is that you can drive into these totals. So we can see that, 160K came through sales this year so far. If I click on this number that is highlighted, that is a link, it's going to take me to all of the transactions that are contributing to that $160,000 number. So I can see all of the different transactions that are contributing to that number here. So that's really nice, because if the numbers seem a bit off, you can click in and drill down into those transactions to find out what might be wrong. And lastly, you can also export this as well. So you can export your profit and loss statement as a PDF, or you can send it to a CSV file, or you can email it out directly to your investors, or a colleague who needs to see details about your company's, profit and loss. So that is, what our profit and loss statement looks like. Again, you can use the free income statement template, which is a much more manual process, but still accomplishes the same thing. Or with our Neat Plus Automated Insights plan, you can connect your accounts and transactions to Neat and then have all of this stuff generate automatically. One key thing you'll notice is that this required no data entry on my part at all. Not even the transactions did I enter, because these all streamed in automatically for me. I didn't have to make any changes to them. And in fact, through our vendor and category mapping, I didn't even need to categorize these transactions. Neat categorized them for me based off of my category mappings. So this profit and loss sheet was generated that quickly just by having my accounts and transactions connected to Neat. The last template that I want to talk about is the free balance sheet template. Let's go back to the page here. So again, you're going to come to neat.com. You're going to scroll all the way to the bottom where you'll find your free balance sheet template here. And you are going to enter your email address here. Again, same deal. All the steps are on this page if you want to see these steps. But I'm also going to walk you through it now, and I'll click submit. And then I can go ahead and download this free balance sheet template. Give me a moment here while I upload it to my Google Drive account, and then I will share it with you. All right. So here is what the balance sheet template looks like right after you download it. Again, bare bones. You got to fill in all the information. You got to put your logo in there, all your company information. And then you can go in and you can update your, the years that you want to compare, if you want to compare years. And you can go in and you can enter all of these numbers and details about your current assets, your current liabilities, and things like that to get a total liabilities and shareholders' equity total at the bottom here. Again, if you see things in here that are missing, you can go ahead and you can right click to add more rows. Or if there are things in here that are that don't matter to you, maybe like, I don't know, prepaid expenses doesn't, you can go ahead and delete anything from this list that doesn't serve your business and the things that are important to you. Now, just like we did with the other two templates, I'm going to show you one that has been kind of already filled out by Wonderland Catering. So here is Wonderland Catering's balance sheet. So they've already filled in all of this information. They entered in all of their 2024 details, and they also entered in all of their 2025 details, giving them the ability to compare their assets, their liabilities, and their total liabilities and shareholders' equity year over year. And if they wanted to, they could, maybe add more columns to the right and add previous years and continue to compare years, or they can add columns to the left to compare future years as well. So pretty basic, again, a pretty manual process. But if you need something like this for investors or for tracking, your financial progress and performance, this is here for you to use, and it's free to use. Now, I'm going to talk about a balance sheet as well. So Neat, just like Neat has both invoicing features and a profit and loss sheet, Neat also has a balance sheet that you can use. So let's pop back over into Neat. So again, you need to have an Neat plus automated insights plan in order to be able to access the balance sheet, because the balance sheet data is driven by your accounts and transactions data. So you have to have the AI plan, and then you also have to connect your accounts to Neat for transaction streaming in order to see the balance sheet be generated. But once all of your accounts are connected, I can go ahead and click reports, and I can click balance sheet down here. Now, again, I don't need to enter any information in. There's no manual data entry with the balance sheet or the profit and loss sheet. All of this data is extracted automatically from accounts and transactions and filled in for me. So it's a lot more straightforward in that respect. So here we can see I have, my total assets, my total liabilities, and my total equity. And we can see, that total of each of those things here at the bottom. And just like with the profit and loss sheet, I can choose to see a summary of all of this information or a detailed list of this information as well. And then just like with the profit and loss sheet, I can export this to a PDF file, a CSV file, or to email if I need to, so I can get it out to an investor or a colleague or coworker. So that is the balance sheet. So again, you have this free template balance sheet that you can download and use, or you can use Neat plus the automated insights plan to do more of an automated balance sheet using accounts and transactions. I hope that this was an insightful webinar for you guys that goes over all of these different free resources. I hope you're more aware of the different free things that you can use at Neat, and maybe even more aware of some of the other functionalities of Neat.com in general. If you are interested, we talked about the invoices and accounts and transactions and the balance sheet and the profit and loss sheet today. If you are interested in any one of those features, I'm going to share a link right now with you guys that will allow you to take advantage of a 30-day free trial of these features. So if you like some of the things that I demoed for you in Neat with invoicing, profit and loss, and balance sheet, go ahead and click this link that's going to pop up at the bottom left-hand corner. Within 24 to 48 hours, someone from my team, a member of my team, will get back to you. They will activate a free automated insights trial on your plan, which will allow you to trial the invoicing and the accounting or the transaction features in Neat, so that you can trial the profit and loss, the balance sheet, and the invoicing features if you'd like, for 30 days completely for free. At the end of the 30 days, if you don't want to continue on with those services, then your plan will just drop back down to your Neat base plan or whatever plan that you were using prior to this. Just let us know by clicking that link, and like I said, we will follow up with you within 24 to 48 hours. So with that being said, I'm now going to open up the floor to some Q&A. So let's see, what types of questions have come in this last hour? Okay, so we have a question from Amy. Amy says, do the invoices that I create in Neat show up in my Neat cabinet? Amy, that's a great question. They don't automatically. So let me explain. When you create an invoice in Neat, the invoice that you generate is going to live in this invoices section of Neat. It is not going to be in your file cabinet at all. However, you can send it to your Neat cabinet through another method. So for example, maybe I want to, maybe I want to have my paid invoices show up in my cabinet. Even though a copy of all of my invoices that are paid are here, and I can access all of the invoices that I've generated in Neat just by clicking view, and I can view them all here. Some users may want to have their invoice also within their file cabinet so that they can match their transactions to these invoices, so that they can include those invoices in their expense reporting or their spending reporting or other reports that they generate in Neat. And they will not be generated unless they're in their file cabinet. So if that's something that you wanted to do, what you could do is you could open any of the invoices that you generate in Neat, and you could print the invoice and maybe print it to Neat, or save the file as a PDF and then import it into your Neat cabinet. So that's what I would recommend doing. So these, like I said, these invoices don't live in your cabinet. They live in this invoices section of Neat. But you could very easily save files as PDF and import them to your cabinet or print them to Neat, if that's something that you would like to do. So hopefully that answers your question, Amy. Let's see what other types of questions have come in here. Melvin asks, how much does the plan cost for invoices and transactions? Melvin, that's a great question. So the Neat Post Automated Insights plan that gives you the ability to access the invoicing features and the accounts and transaction features and the balance sheet and the profit and loss sheet in Neat, not the free resources. These are the paid for resources in Neat. The Neat Plus Automated Insights plan is an add-on plan. So it's an additional $150 per year on top of what your base plan is. So at $150 extra per year, that's about $12.50 extra per month, which is, while we have free resources, these paid for resources at $12.50 per month is still a lot cheaper than what you could get with maybe like QuickBooks that offers similar features. I think QuickBooks cheapest plan right now is like $38 per month. So Neat gives you a much more simplified, easier to use version of these tools at a cheaper price. But like I said, the Neat Plus Automated Insights plan is an additional $150 on top of whatever your Neat base plan is. So it is an add-on feature. It basically equates to an additional $12.50 per month on top of whatever your Neat base plan is. So I hope that answers your question. That's why I said definitely, if you're interested, take advantage of the 30-day free trial to see if you're in, if this works for you. All right, let's see what other questions have come in. So Ray asks, can you accept payments for invoices that you create in Neat? And Ray, another great question, but unfortunately, no. At this point in time, you cannot actually collect payments for any invoices that you generate in Neat. You can manually record a payment, a payment that was captured through another method or another service, maybe through, maybe they paid through cash or check or some other payment service. You can record a payment by clicking on actions and then, let me find one that was sent, actions and then record a payment, but you can't actually accept payments through Neat for any invoices that are generated. So I hope that answers your question. Let's see what other types of questions have come through. Let's see. Okay, so we have a question from Serena, and actually this is a perfect question to end on. So Serena asks, what if I can't find the answer I need from your support resources? What do I do then? So Serena, if you go to our help center and you can't find your answer there, you go to our library, you can't find your answer there, the best thing to do would be to contact support. Our Neat base plan users have access to, unlimited chat and email support. Our support team is available Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. You can access these resources by clicking help and support at the bottom left-hand corner of your Neat account, where you can open up a support ticket and send us an email or chat with us real time. And if you're a Neat plus VIP support customer, if you have our VIP support service plan, you'll also be able to schedule an appointment with a Neat expert here. So you can actually, schedule one-on-one training with our VIP service plan. I will post a link right now to the VIP service plan. If you don't already have a VIP service plan and that's something you're interested in, you can click that link now and you can add that additional VIP service to your account. But that's where you would go. If you need any sort of support, these are the best ways to contact us, either by opening up a support ticket, chatting with us real time, or scheduling an appointment with a Neat expert. So I hope that answers your question. So that brings me to the end of our webinar today. As I promised earlier, I'm going to share a handout with you all right now. So this handout is going to pop up on the right side of the screen. This handout is going to include all of the links and all of the resources that we talked about today. So it's a one-stop shop for everything that we talked about today with clickable links that you can quickly access. So if you want a copy of that, go ahead and download that now. But that is pretty much it. I really appreciate you guys joining me today and going over all of these different free resources that are available to you at Neat. If you posted a question in chat that didn't get answered, don't worry. We will follow up with you before the end of the day to get you an answer. But otherwise, thank you all so much for your time. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and we will be seeing you soon. Thanks, guys. Bye.